So we're live now on YouTube. I'm setting up Facebook Live. I also have a couple more recordings. I am excited for today because this is something that's going to be less health education and more tea education. The reason why I say tea education is because, frankly, that's something that I know a little more about. I'm not a health educator like Alexis is, who does have her teaching credential, but today we're going to be talking about tea education and the background. So I'm super excited. We have the phone calls and the numbers are available. People can call in. I apologize for people who are on the Facebook or on the MailChimp. That is, the phones are currently on hold. Pam, ready to start? Let me end this live video. We're still live on YouTube. I'm ready when you are, Pam. The radio's playing. Awesome. It's always very loud in there. All right, where the camera's going, we have, sorry, Pam. So we have 4 cameras going right now. I apologize for those who were paying attention on the MailChimp. We do not go live at 1 p.m., but we go live at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for those who are interested in calling in, you could call in at 562-945-2777. We are live streaming through YouTube, through Facebook, and through Adrenaline Radio. So today we are going to be covering organic teas and herbs. For the people who've been watching for the last couple months, we've been going for 2 months. Woo-woo, I'm so excited. Is most of the education that we've been putting out, it's been holistic in nature. What is holistic education? It means it's not just mental. It's not just physical. It is spiritual, emotional, environmental. But one of the things that a lot of people in the tea industry like talking about is the health benefits of these teas and herbs. And we're actually going to take a step away from that today because we've been getting quite a few phone calls and emails saying, hey, is Zen's Tea House products organic? Now, organic certifications are a hot topic. A lot of people aren't sure what is organic and what's not. When I went to the first farmer's market, it was in Downey, California. And I remember talking to the market manager, my buddy, I'm not going to mention his name because what he said was a little bit might be seen unethical. He said, Fernando, what is organic? He said, if it's biodegradable, isn't it organic? Is not your body organic? Is not that fruit growing on that tree organic? And I thought to myself, well, that's true, but the USDA certified organic is a little bit different. Zen's Tea House is kind of a conundrum. It doesn't fall under the USDA, that is the United States Department of Agriculture. The why it doesn't is because most of the products that we use, the ingredients, and most of which are organic, are not grown here in the U.S. They're recognized by the U.S. The USDA is an organization that helps regulate farmers and ranchers. They don't particularly work with international companies. So there are organizations Some of them are really good in Germany. Germany is one of the best ones. They have obtained like international health certificates and organic certifications. They're like world leaders, and I'm not going to go in and talking about those regulations because, quite honestly, that's not my cup of tea. But what I do want to say is the recognition of organic has been growing every day. A lot of people are looking for international, USDA. They want to see that certificate. They want to see that symbol because all of a sudden it brings revenue. And we are a company that generates off of sales. I'm all for the sales. We use sales to help people through the power of tea. And it's not always that simple. We have farmers at the farmers markets who have great products. Zen's Tea House operates primarily at farmers markets. We work with medical physicians to put together proprietary blends. But the farmers markets are really for the farmers. They're not for companies like Zen's Tea House, which what we do is we package and we sell at the farmers markets. We actually don't grow the products. If we did grow the products, we'd have we need a lot of land. So again, if you have any questions regarding this, you can call at 562-945-2777 because today we're going to be talking about tea farms. I sent out a MailChimp email talking about some of the plantations. One of them was in Darjeeling. I like Darjeeling. It's beautiful. There's no other plantation. There's I think about 120 plantations, tea farms in Darjeeling. 80% are organic. And I might be off a little bit by the numbers because some people say, well, my family's been running tea farms for a very long time and it's not really on the map. So if people say otherwise, well, hey, my numbers are a little off, please don't be discouraged. You know, I'm just talking generally speaking. There's quite a few farmers markets over in Darjeeling. And the way it works is they have their own self-regulations. They have a national organic program. There is a board that specializes in international recognition for for organic, and some of them are recognized by the USDA. Some of them are a little more innovative, a little more advanced than our United States Department of Agriculture. Nothing against them, just we all have different standards. And the tea farms in the Darjeeling area, as well as in other parts of the world, the way they use organic products is very third world. What do I mean by that? Has anyone been to a farm before? I mean, an actual farm. We're based here in Los Angeles, metropolitan area. A lot of businesses, but how many people have gone to farms, like farmland? I'd love to get a question. That is an important question to ask when you're talking about organic, because when people are looking at organic, they automatically think, hey, Rachel, they automatically think that, yes, it's nice and it's pretty and there's a whole bunch of free land going on. It's usually not in a city area. If it's in a city area, that means that the air quality is typically not very good and the produce isn't very good. So I just want to make that clear right off the bat. When you're looking at the organic plantations in third world countries, they don't have a lot of the amenities that we here in the States have. What do I mean by that? I mean, they can't just wait for water to pump their ground. They're actually really dependent on rainfall. So if you think that your organic farmer is producing a whole bunch of water to put out on his crops, it's probably not the case. Same thing with how they regulate, how they keep track of the products. What they'll often do is they will get the produce. They'll call us at 22777. Andrew, thanks for joining. So here's another aspect of it. How do teas grow in organic products? If you haven't been to a farm before, then you know it's very dependent on the rainfall, also on the manure, also how good the tea is. Oh man, I'm gonna Facebook Live thing because it's going. I guess my Channel just went down. I do it again. Tea education part 2. Part 2. Those who are watching, appreciate your support. Part 2. Cool. We good to go? Pam? Okay. Sorry about that. It's a little chaotic. Let's get back to it. The farmers markets have organic products. It's regulated by the USDA. The products that Zen's Tea House works with, there's a few other organizations. When you're looking at the industry, keep in mind, even if it's organic, that doesn't mean the tea is always very good. Japanese tea is very sensitive. They're known for their matcha and their sencha. We sent out some organic sencha before, and because we sent it out at the wrong time of the year, that is the summer, the tea was very dry. Organic teas don't do well in harsh conditions. In fact, they're very sensitive. Think of it like milk or cheese. You can't leave it out for long. It's nice. It doesn't have a lot of preservatives. In fact, virtually there's no preservatives. There's no pesticides. And that fluctuates. There's always a little here or there. But I want to just share with you that when you're looking at the organic certifications, keep in mind you're getting tea that's not always good as far as preservative goes. Does that make sense? Okay. Wonderful. Tea education part 3. Hope everyone's liking this book. So I'm going to be talking about how to prepare teas. Most people think about teas, they think it's healthy, and that's pretty safe to say. Some of the teas that Zen's Tea House carries, they're recognized for their health benefits. But the history of tea is known as just picking the tea leaves off the tea bushes, boiling them in water for the right temperature, and really you're measuring how good that is. If it's organic, it's a little more sensitive. You'll notice by the taste. We did a YouTube video last year when we were talking about how some of these tea farms grow their tea. I showed a video of some people putting together their teas and they were sweeping it off the ground. It wasn't very good publicity. I apologize. The tea industry is grown in third world countries, and I want to provide this platform to share that the history of tea, if you've been to farms, you have the cattle, you have the manure. It's not always cut and clean and always very nice and pretty. In fact, it's a farm. Tea farms are very similar. They have chickens going through. Sometimes they have cattle, depending on the hills, because most tea farms are on hills or mountain areas. They have to, because it provides a better irrigation system for the tea plants. So the people who were in the tea industry in the was in like the 300 BC was when the first tea was recognized. It was actually published. It was in a Chinese herbal medicine book, and it was known as medicine, Camellia sinensis. And back then, there were only organic. Everything was organic. If you wanted to get products, there was no thinking twice. Why? Because there was no preservatives. If it grew on the ground, it was very natural. You didn't have to worry about any of the material. What is it called? What's it called when you like any pesticide removers? You didn't have to worry about bugs eating your plants. And quite frankly, if you have bugs on your tea, if you have bugs in your tea or in your herbs, that's typically a sign that it's good, because if bugs are eating it, then that means that it's safe for you to eat. Of course, mind you, Zen's Tea House does a very good job in cleaning the teas. We actually freeze the teas. We send them out to a company in Sacramento to make sure that they don't have any bugs, because all that stuff that happens with organic products. You will find bugs in organic produce. It just comes with the game. I'm actually going to be going to Peru later this year. I should be going in August to check out some maca root plantations. Why? Because Zen's Tea House is in the health industry, and we specialize in organic loose leaf teas and herbs. And guess what? Maca root is growing in popularity. There are a lot of people from China buying maca root seeds and taking them to China to grow their own tea. Isn't that crazy? I am amazed at just how much people will go out of their way for tea. But you need to keep in mind that organic teas are a different quality. Hold on one second. I need to get dry my palettes. Zen's Tea House. Shame on Zen's Tea House. Okay. All right. So what we talked about? We talked about how the organic certifications isn't always well regulated. People think that if it's organic, that means it's better for you. Not always. If it's organic, it might mean that some of the people who are drinking the tea, they don't know that it's actually might have some bugs in it because there's lack of pesticides. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just want to make clear that if you don't know what's organic, you need to do your homework. And just I want to make sure that that's clear as far as the industry and the regulations go. So like all agricultural crops, tea depends upon the gentleness of the land. If it's in a healthy, well biodiversified ground, then the quality of the tea will be higher. Typically, now this isn't a fact for sure, but typically the way it works is when you're planting the tea leaves, it takes about a year and a half. There's always people who can make it faster and slower. It really depends on the land. You pluck it, you process it, and you package it. And it takes a lot of hands. Most of the tea plantations are not put together on machines. In fact, there's one that I know of that's in North Carolina, is in Charleston, South Carolina. And what they do is they have a machine that picks up all the tea leaves. Most of the plantations, organic plantations, they don't have that. Geographically, they go, again, in third world countries, you're looking at China, Japan, Indonesia, Taiwan, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Kenya. These are places where, geographically speaking, it's tough to get them out there. But because of the weather, because of the topography, the agriculture produces a good amount of rich nutritional benefits that are in the ground that the tea can suck up. Sounds great. All right. So most people, when they're looking at the teas and they look at organics, they don't know, they can't really tell the difference. If it looks very pretty, it might not be organic. Most teas, if they're organic, they might have to be washed. They might look a little funny. There might be a little twigs and stuff like that. Don't be mad. Don't be afraid, okay? If you see some leaves and twigs in your tea, that probably just means that the people who were processing it didn't pick it out. Because like I said, the people, they pick the tea, they put it in the back of their basket. Most of them are women, and they put it on the truck. The truck takes it to the factory. The factory sends it through the assembly line, and it gets processed, it gets oxidized, and there you go. Make sense? For people who have any questions, please call 945-2777. We'd love to hear from you. Again, this is the tea education, and I just want to share about how organic teas, there's pros and cons. Don't think that just because it's organic that it's going to be great. Sencha is a tea that is one of our hardest teas to get organic. If you want organic sencha, we can sell it to you. Zen's Tea House does carry it. It's a pain in the butt to get. It's not easy. You know, it's one of the first plucking teas in the harvest. It occurs between March and April, and the kind of weather that permits it, it varies from country to country. Japan is known for having the best sencha. They want, it can switch into gyokuru. It can go into different types of matcha. You have Genmai Chai, which uses sencha, but it mixes with other teas. All of these teas can be organic, but the quality can change from season to season. Of all the seasonal hallmarks that are used in producing organic teas, most people want the gentle, flavorful green, the dark green. And that depends largely on the environment. Have any questions? Please call 562-945-2777. I'm going to look at the posts and see who's been responding. I see Wendy Kreider react to the video. Hey, Dr. Wendy. Awesome. Let's see, everyone going well. Tea education. We got Joe, Rachel. Hey, we got some people talking. Awesome. I appreciate the support. Deleting that post. Again, I apologize. We don't live stream at 1 p.m. We live stream at 2 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. All right. We'll go on to the next page. The religious and culture of green tea, organic green tea, is very important. There are some New Age groups that want to use tea in a very mystical way. I'm all for that. And they want everything organic. We have to understand that when you're looking at the teas, organic, as much as I want to say it's better than everything else, just because it doesn't have that USDA sticker doesn't mean that it's not good. There's tons of great products that are just not recognized by organic because the industry is very hard regulating. There's a lot of little curveballs that have to be added in when you're looking at getting organic regulation. One of which is you're going to have to pay a couple $1,000s just to get your application in. Once you get the application, you're going to have to fill up about 50 pages. 50 pages of just Q&A, back and forth questions. Asking things like, where do you keep your brooms? Where do you keep your bug sprays? Where's your refrigerators? All this stuff all these things have to be put in with a $2,000 application. When you're looking at a minimum, you're looking between, on average, $30,000 to $50,000 just to get that organic certification. That's ridiculous. Or you can just grow your tea in your own backyard, which is hard. There's some people who do. And you'll get the certification. So, herbal drinks, organic herbal drinks for babies. I can't say that it's good. Why? Because just the insurance policies, babies and herbal teas are not recognized to be beneficial at all. You can look at the WebMD. They'll say that there's really no definitive difference between organic and non-organic. I would say that is baloney. Of course, there's a big difference. But when you have less preservatives in your food, it's easier to break down. You get some organic meat and you leave it out and see how quick bugs go to it versus non-organic meat. Same thing with the tea leaves. We have to freeze our tea leaves and then unfreeze them so that the bugs that might get shipped in from the other countries die. And that's not a bad thing. This is what happens when you deal with organic. So keep in mind when you're looking at the organic certifications, it's not always what it appears. All right. I'm going to go and talk about, what is USDA organic? What actually makes a USDA organic? A lot of people aren't familiar that it actually changes from state to state, and it definitely changes from country to country. The organic USDA operations and the regulations, they're outsourced to a lot of companies. And the main objective is to keep the agencies and the organic sector well regulated. It's not about money, but there's a lot of money. There's a lot of people who go into it for money. So when you're looking at the health and safety of organic, those are important. But the organic plants, those really you have to go at a little differently, because it's not always very effective to say, well, this plant's organic, this is better for me, it's more affordable. That's not always true. The USDA does provide technology and to help manage the pests and the populations that to the pest populations that are in the organic gardens. Why? Because you'll see a lot more insects and mites and weed pests that show up, and they're not bad. You just have to wash them. Okay. So organic certifications and accreditations. The organic certification allows a farmer or a processing facility to sell, label, and represent their products as organic. The organic brand provides consumers with more choices in the marketplace, and the USDA protects the consumer from options by protecting the organic seal. There are some people who will just label everything organic. They say, "Oh yeah, it's organic." My grandpa's like that. He'll say, "Oh yeah, this is." He always asks me if he goes shopping at the 99-cent store. It's my 93-year-old grandpa. God bless his soul. He buys his produce from the 99-cent store, and he likes it, and it's great. It's good stuff. I always ask him if it's organic. Sometimes they do carry some organic stuff, but he'll say, "Oh yeah, mijo, it's all organic." The USDA protects against consumers. They help advocate for companies who are actually organic and those who aren't. The organic certification basics, they change from location to location. We have taken off quite a few of our labels of the organic from the farmers markets, because the farmers markets have their own regulations. Farmers have to jump through hoops to get their teas, or to get their herbs, to get their plants, to get their produce organic. Even their food, which is a lot like their meat, that's a lot harder, at least from what I understand. And the process works is the organic certifiers. There's companies that bid for this. They get the opportunity to regulate. They become certifying agents of the USDA, and what they do is they go and verify the farms or the businesses and make sure that they're compliant with the USDA's standards. Now, again, the standards can fluctuate from state to state, and they do fluctuate from country to country. Germany has far higher regulations than the United States Department of Agriculture. Just the agricultural aspect is a little different over in other countries, but everyone likes the USDA sticker, so that's what we put. A plant that is grown to be harvested as food, livestock, feed, or fiber are used to be added to nutrients to the field. That's a organic. That could be considered a crop. So there's a few different types of crops that are registered as organic. There's food, there's animals, which is also kind of produced as food. There's processed food, like chopped carrots and chopped peas, and put them in cans and stuff and say, hey, it's organic. And then you have wild plants that grow in sites that are not cultivated. Those are also known as wild crafted. Our kava kava is not organic. It's wild crafted. It grows in third world countries, it grows in Fiji, but the area where we get it from, it's not like a farm. It just grows out in the wilderness. That's something to consider when you're looking at teas. If it's not organic, that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It could be that it's just wild crafted, which is even better. If you ask me, wild crafted is better. I always prefer wild crafted. Our chaga is wild crafted. So if you ask if our chaga is organic, well, no, it's better than organic. It's wild crafted. Okay? let me go. Tea Education. Our Facebook Live is just, I think I have too many programs running on this computer. That's fine. So the USDA compliance, if you want more information, you could go to www.ams.usda.gov. That's AMS, that's an acronym for Agricultural Marketing Services. Why? Because they're the ones that help put together regulations. You know, the USDA organic seals, there's regulations on how to use that. And there's even a pocketbook on how to use it. I read it. It's pretty dull. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But it's a legitimate website. So I hope that helps. So there's also, this is now what we work with. We're about 30 minutes in, and we're talking about organic. I want to say that the USDA is not what Zen's Tea House works with. We work with the European Union, who work with Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and they have their own they have their own organic trade, their own forms that are recognized by the USDA as being organic. So when you're looking at importing foreign organic products, teas and herbs are a large part of that. There's a few compliances. The National Organic, it's called the NOP, the National Organic Program. It's committed to protecting organic integrity through the following activities. Get ready for this. Auditing of certifying agents to ensure the proper monitoring of organic products. These are the guys who bid on it. These are companies that say, hey, yeah, I want to be a certified official. They go and do that. They go and they do inspections. There's about 30,000 organic certifying agents that go and do this. That's not very many when you consider how many people use the USDA sticker. There's a residual testing programs to verify that prohibited pesticides aren't being applied to organic products. So even though you can get people, you get the agents to go and take a look at the farms to make sure that these products are organic, guess what? They'll still have to do testings. And by the way, you have to pay money for that to make sure that the organic crops are not being sprayed with prohibited pesticides. Not all pesticides are bad. Just remember that. You can have organic and it can still have pesticides. Compliance and informants activities, including suspending or revoking organic certifications for regulatory and non-compliance. Oh my gosh. I know some people who've had their organic certification revoked, and it wasn't because they didn't obey the laws. It's because they increased the prices and they said, honestly, we can't afford it. That was our case with the Zen's Tea House. We had the organic certifications. We went through the organic processing site. We filled out the paperwork with some over in Sacramento. We put it in under I can send you the paperwork, but they wanted to charge us an extra $30,000. $30,000 to hold on to that label. Our products haven't changed. The companies that we work with haven't changed. The farmers haven't changed. But the regulations, they say, guess what? Organic is a hot product. Supply and demand, guys. If you want organic, you're going to have to pay more. So the certifying agents, the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, they made it a little more expensive. So I'm actually going to copy and paste this link and put it on our page because I think that this is very educational and that people should know about this. Not a lot of people are interested in learning how organic certifications work. But when you are considering, hey, I only eat organic or I only drink organic, keep in mind that this is important. Okay, so here we go. My gosh, man. We having fun, Pam? USD Organic International Recognition. Let me actually go the USDA Organic Integrity Database. Boom, boom, boom. I'm actually posting all this online, and we're going to do I'm going to also be doing a MailChimp video MailChimp email. So please follow us on mail on Zen's Tea House, and you'll see how this organic certification works. Remember I mentioned the National Organic Program. It's actually run by the USDA. It's in charge of the labeling products is used as organic. The certification process is a pain in the butt, and again, I told you it's for agricultural products, but in general, it deals with a lot of other businesses directly involved with food production. This could be seeds, suppliers, farmers, foods, processors, retailers. We are a manufacturer, but we're also a retailer. And there's also some regulations on organic clothing. I know some people who are in the hemp industry, and they have organic hemp, and they grow their own clothes and their products, but the regulations on that are a little different. I don't know too much about that. So the reason why we have organic certifications is because people want to know if there's any synthetic chemicals being put in their products and their food. In some countries, there's no organic certifications. You have to pay for agents to go and take a look. When I was in Guatemala, we went to a farm way out in the who knows where. I remember we had to take like 3 buses to get there, and then we had to jump on a truck to go out. It was like there was 2 volcanoes. One of them was active, and it was super cool. And everything was organic. The farmer, who was actually also a doctor, he planted some trees and other plants to act as a natural anti-pesticide. They actually ate it ward off pesticides, and you didn't want to eat that, but there's produce to help counterbalance the ecological system. And I thought that was amazingly cool. You could also find this on YouTube. Yeah, just Google YouTube Guatemala or Zen's Tea House Guatemala. I'll make sure I'll send that also. I'll write that down because I don't want to forget. Plantation Guatemala. So let me go take a look at any interactions. I see Jesse with the thumbs up. I appreciate the support, guys. Thank you. And let me know. Okay, cool. Willie Johnson watching the video. Awesome. Thanks, guys. 16 views, 36 minutes. Wonderful. Whew. How's everyone going out there, guys? Please let me know. You can call us at 562-945-2777. I really appreciate that. And if you can, send us an email at info@zenstea.com. We're going to talk in the last 5 minutes on the organic certification, because I wanted to really push in on 2 main points. Number 1 is that organic certifications, they change with every country and every state. They have agents who come in, and their standards can fluctuate. It is a business. It costs a lot of money. So keep in mind, there are some businesses that sell organic products, doesn't recognize that, different regulation agents. We're kind of in a third limbo party. So if you want more information, please take a look at the website, ams.usda.gov. They have a lot of other good stuff. And they actually talk about the compliance and the enforcements of these activities. All that was just the disclaimer. I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about how organic tea plantations, organic tea farms work. A few years ago, I went over and checked out and was in India, and I was looking at some plantations and trying to expand our business, trying to get a better quote on our teas, because when we first started, we did maybe about, I don't know how many teas, a few hundred pounds in teas. Now we easily do 600 pounds of tea a month. Zen's Tea House is on 600 pounds of tea a month. And before we could get to that rate, we had to make sure that before we could get to that level, we had to make sure that we could add the numbers up. And so nothing better than going to the plantations and getting a better deal. Again, I said I said in August I'm going to be leaving. I already got the ticket, so who knows? I've bought tickets before and I haven't gone, so that's the plan. Is going to Peru to get some maca, and we're looking to get a better deal. We also have some other herbs that we're bringing in. Kratom is one of them. The CBD teas that's already on the market. If you want the CBD teas, you can email us at info@zenstea.com. I'll give you a link, or we'll give you some information on how to get those samples. Sorry if we're running a little late. Again, certified officials and regulations, we got to make sure that our integrity and the databases, everything's aligned, because when you're handling these products, you're not just handling a retail value product. You're handling organic, you're handling medicine, and all that stuff is very important. So when I got to the tea farms, one of the things that I noticed was just how serene it is. You don't get a lot of traffic. There's not cars driving by tea plantations. I mean, when you get to the really big plantations, you get the big locations, you won't be able to just drive by. You have to go way out of your way to get to that tea plantation. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you're looking to go to a tea plantation, you need a ticket. You need to get a plane ticket, get some bus passes and a backpack, because you're going to be gone for a while. Most of these I'm not sure about how China and Japan is. I know they fluctuate, but that being said, when you get there, you'll notice there's not a lot of people around. They have a village nearby. The women come, they pick the tea. The men are the ones that work in the factories. That's a whole other story. That's a whole other story why women are actually working in the fields and the men are in the factories. You can Google that. And the organic process, they actually use chlorine. They use chlorine and weeds. They mix it for like 6 to 9 months together, and they have an irrigation system to where they spray this natural herbicide to keep everything organic. So it's totally in compliance with the USDA. It's totally in compliance with the National Organic Program. But again, if you try to do this here in the States, it wouldn't be so easy. In other countries, third world countries, the regulations are a lot less. The industry is a lot more fluctuating. All they have to do is show their paperwork, go and say, hey, these are the chemicals we use. This is how we regulate, and it's much easier. Because again, the agents are there to really help make sure that the industry has integrity. And when you're in when you're at tea farms, most of the people there are there because they want to be. I don't know too many people who are farmers, whether tea farmers or just American farmers who grow produce and they're supplying their nation, their community with good food, keeping up with the harvest. The factories being organic, from what I know, the factories have really nothing to do with it. Why? Because that's just where they handle and they process it. They have to wear their hairnets, and there's the gloves and all that other good stuff. But for the most part, when you're looking at organic, the factories don't have anything to do with it. It's really easy because they're organic handling process product. They're certified to handle organic products. But the farms is where the farms, and the factory is usually on the farm, but where it's produced, the agents go and they sign off on it. And there you go. I hope this was helpful. I really do. I know we typically do the healthy organic produce. We typically talk about the benefits of teas and herbs and different types of medicine and healthcare. But a lot of people are asking questions about, is Zen's Tea House products organic? Yes, they are. Most of them are. I would say 80% of our products are organic. And our ingredients that we use, it's organic. And if it says it online, then it's organic. But when we get to a retail location, when we get to different places, that's a different beast. Unfortunately, we have to balance. Do we want how much more money are we going to pay to produce, to get certified for handling organic CBD tea, cannabis oil tea? The time and the money that's spent on it just can be better used. And so I hope this helps. The plantation in Guatemala, again, it was beautiful. They used natural herbs to fight off the pesticides. When I was in India, they used weeds and they mixed it together with some chlorine and some other chemicals. Totally like good chemicals. They weren't like maliciously bad. I mean, you could stick your hand in it and it's like soapy water. And it helps produce organic products without the herbs or without the pesticides. Now, finally, the buying organic. We talked about the farms, but we talked about the regulations and how that works. We talked about how the different teas, how some teas are not always better organic, like sencha. Again, I like sencha, but I typically won't buy organic sencha because it's not always that great. That's my personal opinion. But you can get organic sencha. Chaga, maca root, you won't get that organic just because it's not certified organic. It's wild crafted. It's grown in the wild. You're not going to get you'll get it wild crafted, that you'll get certified, but you will not get the organic. And talked about the tea farms, talked about the industry, and now we'll talk about buying organic. How many people buy just organic? I do. I pretty much just only buy organic. And the reason why is because I want to support the organic industry. It's not to be, it's just organic. No, it's just easier on your body. But when you're considering buying organic, keep in mind that not everyone who uses that symbol is actually certified. And if it's not certified, that doesn't mean that it's not organic. And if it is certified organic, it doesn't always mean that it's organic. Your palates have to get used to the taste. And that takes time. So, like a person who drinks a lot of tea, they'll be able to tell you just from the smell if it's a good quality tea. I know some people who are like that with coffee. A lot of people are like that with wine. If you want, you can email us. We can send you a list of the teas that we have for samples that are organic. You can brew the teas and taste the difference. They do fluctuate from harvest to harvest. So if you're interested, please email me at info@zenstea.com. It's not always a quick response. It usually takes us a couple days because we are growing in our size.